So right now, I'm probably in the ICU, or at least post-surgery, if everything went well. And I thought I'd talk about, the last time I went to ICU. I went there and I was hallucinating for a few weeks. And, hallucinations are apparently my most viewed YouTube video. That wasn't, me representing a hallucination, but me literally going through one. So, I thought I'd share the most literally crazy experiences I had of it during hospital. Not only for you guys to watch and go, whoa, but also for my family and myself, as you'll see. So yeah, I think the first thing you got to know about hallucinations, those 2 weeks when I was out of my mind, it was simultaneously the most scary and amazing times of my life. When you are hallucinating, everything you see and feel is real. Like it's really incredible just how powerful your mind can be. I mean, if you think about it, it's everything. Everything's gone on in here, right? I mean, in this video where I was hallucinating and my mom took a video of me while having one, I look like I'm high, but in my mind, I was seeing hair coming from me from all corners, getting into my, nose, mouth, clogging all that up, central lines. I thought they were everywhere. And this is in a time when I was in the middle of chemo. So I was hugely germophobic. And I thought that, any infection could have killed me at that time. And I thought that that hair that was getting all around me and it was literally flying around in my eyes was going to kill me if it got to me. So this oxygen nasal prong that I was using to blow away the hair, I was saying, whoa, because in my mind, that nasal prong was sort of like a barrier keeping all this infection and this thing that could kill me out of there. It was saving my life. So of course I was going, whoa, that's to explain that. A bit of my subconscious came to life, it seems. But during those weeks, I did some crazy and saw some amazing things. Your mind is really amazing. In one of those hallucinations, I was rapping with Eminem. My mind literally made up a whole rap song. It made sense and it was pretty good in my mind. And yeah, that's one thing that happened. Another thing, I time traveled. This is in 2012 when everyone was convinced that the world was ending. And in my head, my cousins, brother, mum, dad, they were all freaking out thinking, oh no, it's all gonna end, it's all gonna end. This must have been December, whatever that day was. But I was telling them, nah guys, don't worry, I've been there, I've been through it, it's all a hoax, you're all gonna be okay. Social media even back then was like, making everyone freak out, apparently. Another one, another crazy one. My uncle, he's like this total yogi. He says, pranayam, which is like Indian deep breathing yoga, that could fix all my conditions. He'd been saying that for months, as I was relapsing. He's like, pranayam, just breathe, Nikhil, you'll be okay. And in one hallucination, he came in and told me, Nikhil, the power of breathing is so amazing. Just watch. And then he starts huffing and puffing, like blowing himself up, just like he does during yoga. He's like, and then suddenly he turns Super Saiyan, like shoulders puffing out, chest, pecs hanging out of his shirt, biceps 30 inches round, Super Saiyan, like anything. He starts lifting, chairs and doing exercises on them. See what it does, Nikhil? Breathe! But I mean, that was just the beginning of that episode, because it wasn't just my uncle, it was everyone around me getting jacked in front of my eyes. Not just dad and my brother, even my mum, right? I have never seen my mum even throw a ball in my life. And suddenly she's like a full female bodybuilder. And I'm like, what? A close family friend who visited? They weren't allowed in because I guess I was in isolation or whatever. They must have been looking at me like, through the door of the room I was in. But even then, one of my closest family friends, the dad, the sons, and even their like, cute little mom, they were all sitting there just jacked, arms out, flexing and everything, and giving me a nod as if like, you're strong, bro, you're gonna get there, bro. And I guess that goes to show just how all that motivational stuff you see just indoctrinates as a cancer patient. Another crazy one, I saw foxes, 4-inch foxes, probably this big, running around all over my room. They were invading me and they were like biting me everywhere. I think at that time I must have been going through some pain, maybe some reaction to medicine. I don't know, I can't remember. But apparently I was pulling at my central line because those foxes, they were attacking the prongs that were leading into a line that went into my heart. And nurses and doctors, they were all panicking. But the way that they got it out from me was crazy. So dad, he told me, Nikhil, what's happening? And I was like, Dad, there's foxes. Dad, what are you gonna do? And then he starts like pushing the foxes away. So in my mind's eye, like he was pushing them away one by one, then like slamming the door floor and 500 of these little foxes were getting pushed out as he did so. Everyone outside, I mean, those nurses who must have seen him would have been like, they would have wanted him, thinking he was crazy, but it worked. Like, soon my room was full of foxes. And you know, all of that happened because I remember my dad telling me, like, at 6 or 7 years old, I don't know how old I was, he told me that foxes get in everywhere. My dad grew up, I guess, on a farm. And from that, I somehow got that these foxes were invading my room and assaulting me. And this crazy thing is, all of that made sense to me. That was my reality. Oh, this one's pretty bad. So yeah, I was hugging my mom, and in so much peace, you know, your mom's hugging you, you feel good. I remember saying something like, you know, this moment couldn't feel any better, any more surreal and fresh and amazing. And then I peed, which I guess is one of the most amazing feelings when you're busting. Apparently, I'd peed on her. Poor mom. She's been through way too much. But yeah, I mean, this stuff is funny, but a lot of that time was also really, really scary. I can't imagine what my parents were going through. My mom, one time, I don't know why, I must have been in so much pain, but feeling that pain everywhere around my body, I kept grabbing my mom. I don't know what I was doing in real life, but in my head, I was telling her, I was bleeding, please, mom, kill me. What the hell? Like, can you imagine someone saying that to someone else? Like, especially your child? I can't, that's crazy what I put her through. Another one, that's pretty sad in a way. I remember being convinced that all of this that I was going through, the chemo, the cancer, the leukemia, me being in ICU, was all a movie, right? I was seeing cameramen and filming cameras and a set and everything like that all around me, that all of this was just like some prank they were pulling, and they were all going to surprise me and get me out of it. And I was so convinced that all of this wasn't real, but the sadness I felt when I realized it wasn't a prank and all of this was real, I mean, I still feel sorry for myself thinking about it to this day. But though it was crazy, mostly, to be honest, it was scary, amidst all of this, there was one moment that I will remember for the rest of my life. So I was sitting in my room. I was there on a bed with my cousin and my dad by my side. You know, this cousin was pretty much my best friend growing up. And we were watching this fishing show. Like, I love fishing. It's my favorite thing to do when I can. And we're watching away. Everything's blurry and confusing. It's been like that for a few weeks, I guess, when I was in ICU. But then, for the first time in weeks, everything crystallizes and became clear. I see this guy, Robson Green, whose fishing adventures I pretty much lived vicariously off during chemos. And he said something totally crazy to you and me right now, but it made absolute sense to me. This is like a fishing show that comes on daytime TV. And then he said, you know what, guys? I have something amazing to tell you. We're gonna be coming out with a movie, and it's gonna happen soon. And you know, as he said, coming soon, my vision cleared even more. Everything had this crystallizing clarity to it. And then my infusion pump started beeping. I looked at my cousin and then my dad, who said, Nikhil, press the button. Everything will feel better. And for some reason, in my mind, it was clear then that by pressing that button, all of this would end. All the pain, the shit I'd been through, the chemo, the cancer, it had all come to an end. I thought that it was going to release a medication. I looked back at Dad, and he just looked back at me and said, nodded, and he was crying a little, and I was crying a little at that point as well. Yeah, I was so damn scared. I don't know, shit must have been just really, really tough at that time. But after the longest pause of my life, me just, you know, about to press that button, eventually I got to a point where I did press it. And after that, nothing happened. I looked back at Dad, and he had tears screaming down his eyes, and he said, what did you think was gonna happen? Nothing. You're gonna get through this, Nikhil. I mean, I'm still getting chills just talking about it. I'm smiling. Fuck. The way I'd adapted to my, you know, cancer, I'd rigged myself to not be positive or strong, but to give myself to be something positive and strong about. I looked at all the things that were on my side. All of that was sticking with me. Even then, in the craziest times of my life, I was pulling myself up. And that is something so self-assuring. That's something that pumps me up thinking about it to this day. That moment will always stick with me. It'll always be special. I'll always remember it. And I mean, if I'm struggling right now, Mom, Dad, whoever, please put this phone to my ear and tell myself this and make myself listen to this. And hopefully that'll remind me that, you know, the surgery, that all of this is being done to get me better. But though the pain is there right now, I could get out of it. And hopefully this will give me something to smile about when I may not feel like I have much to smile about. I really, really hope it does. But yeah, to Mom and Dad and my brother, You guys must be going through hell right now. Apparently, I'd made a system with Dad during those 2 weeks I was hallucinating. I can't even remember how many hallucinations I had, but when I was in those lucid moments of being normal during that madness, Dad would wink, so I knew it was real, right? So he'd wink, and I'd be like, oh, okay. And I used to ask him in those times, you know, what's going on in my treatment? What are my doctors saying? All that kind of thing. And that brought me peace in those moments of hell. It gave me something to cling to that I knew was real. It grounded me. He became my rock. Now, we've had our difficulties. Cancer, it's not something you just get treatment for and then feel better. I've had some of the worst side effects, mentally and physically, throughout this. It's impossible for carers, for someone suffering like me, to not get in each other's faces, to resent them and feel like everything's unfair. And as a family, we have taken it out at each other so much. But after many hugs and cries, I've learned that forgiving feel has happened is so much better than hanging on to things that just make us feel shit or angry all the time. I'm sorry, Mum and Dad, that I've been horrible in the past, and sorry that I still am sometimes. Some would say often. Sorry, Mum, for all the shit I put you through. Dad, I mean, we're best friends. You've made my rock for so long. We butt heads, but though this sucks, and I know that you're gonna be a rock for this family no matter what happens to me. I'm sorry how much I've made you doubt, I guess, your own rock, but I hope we can all feel and be better after this. If for some reason we can't, then please just be there for each other and make those things I've left behind become realities. And yeah, I hope this helps you guys watching on too. Your mind is an amazing thing. It's everything we are. We experience everything in this 6 inches, or however big your head is. I should know this, I'm a medical student. If you can control it, give yourself the best chance of being happy. You know, that book, I may or may not be able to finish it, that I'm writing, I hope I can give you a process that can help you get it on your side. But sometimes you can't do it on yourself, and sometimes you need help, and that is during depression. Now, I can tell you, someone who's been through it, that depression is 50 times worse than cancer. It's 50 times worse than this surgery, because unlike, you know, surgery and cancer, when you have depression, you don't have your brain on your side. It's rigged to work against you. There's no end in sight sometimes. But though it feels like you can't, though it often feels comfortable and it becomes our norm, almost a friend, this depression, it doesn't have to be there all the time. And I guarantee you, as someone who's felt like, what's the point? There's no way out of this. Trust me, as someone who's been through that too, life is much better on the other side. Treatment is nowhere near as hard as it seems it is. And when you start feeling normal and you start feeling good about things again, that is so worth the effort. I guarantee you, you'll always have something on your side. Even if you feel like there's nothing that makes life worthwhile, that there's nothing that could be, I guarantee you there is something. Please give it a shot. Anyways, thanks guys. I'll be releasing more of these things on YouTube. Scheduling is amazing. I hope I get to chat soon and update you guys on everything. But yeah, I hope this helps you guys as well. Love ya.